Hello everybody, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my favorite Venom build in Pilgrammed. This build is pretty basic, it does decent DPS, it has really high piercing against armored opponents, and it allows you to heal for a lot of HP. So the thing with the Venom accessories is that they don't require you to be ranged or melee, so while my main weapon is the Creepy Claw, you could reasonably use the Acrid Longbow or the Serpent Scepter as well. There's definitely higher damaging builds in the game, but I think this is almost the best that you can do with the Venom accessories. Okay, let me show you the items for this build. So firstly, for the helmet we're using the Martial Headband. This will give us some crit chance, dexterity and strength. While the set bonus is useless, it's good for crit builds because it increases your DPS. For the armor we're using the Patchwork Armor. This lets us heal whenever we crit, and it gives us a ton of dexterity, crit chance and strength. This is a staple armor on any crit build, and really should not surprise you at this point. Our first accessory is the Fetid Crabspawn. So whenever we apply Venom it lasts 2 times longer, and it gives 5 dexterity and strength, which is really good. Our next item is the Caustic Fang. This really brings the build together. So whenever you attack an enemy who has poison inflicted on them, the attack has 50% extra piercing, and ignores 15% damage reduction. This is really good against armored opponents, and I think it's the item which gives the most piercing in the game. And to get even more piercing, we use the Sharktooth Necklace, which gives us 5% crit chance and makes it so that our crits do 50% increased piercing. This basically lets us have 100% piercing in total. Our next item is the Royal Antenna. This applies a bleed whenever you crit, which will give us some easy extra damage and an additional status effect. And finally we use the Mysterious Charm. This increases your damage by 10% and gives you 5% extra crit chance. It's just a really good accessory on any build, especially DPS ones. Okay, so for the skill tree, it's a pretty basic DPS crit skill tree. We use the aced version of Delicate to give us extra crit chance and crit damage. In the defense tree, we run Juggernaut aced. This will just give us some extra damage and defense. Rally aced will also let us heal, and it's good on pretty much any build. And finally, the last 2 points goes towards Athlete. Okay, let's go over how to get all these accessories. Our first item, the Martial Headband, can be obtained by killing Kai in the Big Bay. I've shown how to kill this boss a million times on this channel. You just go up this little parkour until you find this guy in the cave, and then ask him to spar you. So when fighting Kai Guy, you just want to focus on parrying his attacks. You can't hit him normally until you've block broken him, which you can do by parrying his attacks like 8 times. When he charges up an uppercut or a kick, you want to run away because it's not worth it to parry. But for the fireballs and the basic attacks, those are what you want to parry. Once you've got this down, he dies pretty quickly, so this boss should not give you too much trouble. After killing him, there's a chance you'll get his headband, so keep on farming him until you get it. For the armor, we want to head to the observatory, and then talk to this crafting NPC. In his little shop, he'll give you an option to purchase the Patchwork Armor. This requires a lot of different components: 1500 gold, 20 scrap metal, 2 foul patches, and 25 chaos essence. So for the scrap metal, you can get it by killing this blue slime boss. I'll show you how to get to him in a minute. And for the foul patches, we have to kill this boss called the Patrice. He's a little annoying to get to, so if you want to see how to kill him and get the foul patches, go and watch our guide on how to kill Patrice. So to get to the blue slime boss, you want to go to the forest and head to the place between the beginning of the mountain and the forest. You'll see this little opening to a cave. At the end of it will be the blue slime boss, who you can kill for scrap metal. So to deal with him, he basically does jumps as his attacks, and every third jump will be longer range, so do keep that in mind when you're trying to parry it. He'll also throw down these spikes which do a lot of damage to you, which you can avoid by not moving all the time, so that the attack doesn't hit you. As long as your build is decent, you should be able to kill him fairly easily. Killing him will give you around 4 or 5 scrap metal, so just repeat this until you have enough for the Patchwork Armor. So to get Chaos Essence and also one of the accessories, the Royal Antenna, we have to head to the deep desert and go and kill the King Sandpod boss. This is probably my favourite boss fight in the game. I've killed him probably hundreds of times by now, and for those of you who've watched my videos, you probably have as well. The King Sandpod boss is fairly easy to beat. The main thing you want to do is to parry his swipe attacks, and then he'll lay on his back and become vulnerable for you to kill him. Keep farming this boss until you get the Royal Antenna, and also the Chaos Essence to craft Patchwork. So in the same area is actually the boss who drops the Fetid Crabspawn. He also drops the weapon that we're using, the Creepy Claw, and he also drops the bow, the Acrid Longbow. So this boss is a pretty weird boss to fight. So I will say that he looks a lot tankier than he actually is. If you manage to dodge some of his attacks and then go in and hit him, he will take a ton of damage and you can kill him fairly easily. I will say that you do need to keep moving so that you can dodge his venom attacks. Keep on beating this guy until you get all of his free drops, his bow, his sword, and the Fetid Crabspawn. So for the Sharktooth Necklace, if you go out to the Sinister Sea, you will sometimes see these sharks in the sea, and you can just spam kill them and there'll be a chance that you get the Sharktooth Necklace drop. And for our final accessory, the Mysterious Charm, we need to head to Cloud City and do the Sky Battlegrounds. You need a certain amount of points to get the Mysterious Charm. I believe if you're doing it solo, it's around wave 40 or 50. The build that you're using matters a lot for this, so try and use something with a lot of lifesteal or defense. Okay, now you know how to get all the items, let's talk about weapon traits and gems. So for the Creepy Claw, we use the legendary trait, as it gives us the biggest DPS increase. And for the gem, we use Blood Gem. This lets us heal more, but if you want to do more damage, then you can use the Charm Gem. And for the Acrid Longbow, we use the Bursting modifier to give the arrows a bit more damage. And Blood Gem is always the best for these range weapons, because it lets you heal from a safe distance. So now you know how to make this build. I want to show you a quick tip about the heavy attack. So if you're too far away, the heavy attack actually can't crit, and it will do way less damage. But if you're up in the face, then it can crit and it will do a lot of damage. So do keep this in mind, that to maximize your DPS you have to be right in front of them. Okay everybody, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.